Alright, so I can see that my studs are all at different weird angles. And what I want to do, what they're talking about, is trying to make the studs be aligned with my wall. So they need to go vertical. So I can try to move my points and try to get them and say, oh, that looks pretty close, but I cannot be exact. Again, I can get it close, but I can't get it exact. So the question then becomes, how can I get it more precise? Think about it. I want my walls and my studs to be vertically aligned. That means I'm going straight up and down. In other words, those studs and walls, the left and right wall, need to be parallel to one another. And if I think about how can I do that with parallel lines, well, I know that the angles formed with the support beam, I should have some angle relationships, like corresponding angles. So let's take our angle tool, put it down here at point C, and I can get an approximate angle measure here and see that that's approximately 58 and 67 hundredths. And then what I can do is if I'm having issues with this, I can just bend it out a little bit, and I know that what I want to do is move it up here to that same point Q, and I want to get it to that same angle measure of the 58, uh, right there around the 58 and that 58 degree measure. So I can move then point E, and I can move point F. And now if I go back, move this down here, and then I can say I want that same angle measure when I come up to angle G because I'm creating corresponding angles. So I'll try to line up. Let's get the word stud out of the way. Get this one on one side. Try to get it up here. Get it real close. And again, you're dealing with the decimals. So I mean, if you've got it pretty close, you do the best you can here. See, I mean, I'm right around that angle measure. It's just really close. Just trying to get it as close as possible. You can see it's really close there. There we go. That's super close there. I can say, make sure it's all lined up with that side here. And that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to use my angle tool one more time and try to get it to line up. And maybe it's a little too hard to do it with this side. So I can say, well, I also could use my alternate interior angle. So I could say, well, let me put one here and say that I want it right around that same, at just around 58 degrees, between 58 and 59. So I move my, and then I can take and move my point J till it's right in line with it. And now if I look, move that out of the way, get a hold of my angle tool, get out, I've got vertically aligned boards. Second question that asks, well, how could I have used the floor or the ceiling? Well, what is the relationship of BDC? What's that angle right there? And that angle should be, if I measure it, a 90-degree angle. And so what I could do is just make sure that in each of these places that I have a 90-degree angle. And again, part of this is I'm dealing with pixelation, but you can see I'm very, very close to it. Try and get it as close as possible. That's pretty close. And then I would move and make sure that as I go along, See, there I am lined up, perpendicular angle right there with it. So I know I could make it perpendicular to the floor and the ceiling as well, and that would give me the same solution.